Hello and welcome to the UAE Tour Women 2025. Now in its third year, this race is a firm fixture as one of the top early season tests on the Women's World Tour. 119 of the world's best riders are here to compete over 4 days and 540 kilometres in the warm winter conditions of the Middle East. Much like the past two editions, the four-stage race is predominantly one for the sprinters, with stage 3 the only summit finish and indeed the only real climbing throughout the week, so it'll be a crucial day in deciding who wins the general classification. Relive gets the glory! Riders down, riders down. Some of the top names in women's world cycling are here again. Team SD Works Pro Time may be missing last year's GC winner Lotte Kopecky, but they're being led by a familiar face to this race, the European road race champion Lorena Wiebes. The Dutch rider already has 3 stage wins to her name here, and the 25-year-old will certainly be looking to add more this time round.
Lorena, the finish in Dubai Harbour, that's your speciality, isn't it? How much do you like it?
Yeah, I really like it. And I even went on holiday here, and it was close to the finish line actually. So no, I like to race here. It's nice weather, a lot of sprint opportunities, and also to finalize our sprint train.
Wiebes' main competitor for sprint glory will be her fellow countrywoman Charlotte Cole. The Team Picnic Post NL rider has also tasted success here with 2 trips to the top step of the podium. Among the favourites for the general classification is the 2023 winner Elisa Longo-Borghini, Juliette Labousse from FDJ Suez, and former World Road Race champion Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, who is returning to the asphalt this season after a 6-year break from the Women's World Tour. The multidisciplined rider has enjoyed great success competing in mountain bikes and gravel, and the UAE Tour is the first chapter in a year with big ambitions.
What is your ambition or secret ambition for this race?
Yeah, for this race it's just to come back, in the bunch and getting used to road cycling again. But yeah, the main goal is to win Tour de France.
Those battling for the red general classification jersey will be hoping for a relaxed ride on the wide roads of the UAE for the first 2 days. But for the sprinters, it's straight into the action. Stage 1 is 149 kilometres, all within the Dubai Emirate, starting from the Dubai Police Officers Club before heading out of the city into the countryside, before returning to the city to the finish on the scenic Dubai harbour front. The peloton rolled out on the city roads beneath the huge towers of Dubai, with the lure of 2 intermediate sprints offering the chance for a breakaway to take crucial points and bonus seconds. We join the action with 130 kilometres remaining. It's an attack. Who's gone north? Who's decided? Who's cracked basically and decided? Why not? It's tempting, isn't it? We're getting sort of ever closer to that first sprint of the day. We're about 12k out to that first intermediate sprint of the day, which could pay significant dividends for a rider who manages to take the maximum points at that. So we've got going north, as we might have expected, rider from the BP and Mattress squad, Laporta indeed, Linda Laporta, the Italian rider. The block is on at the front. I wonder will anyone else be tempted to try and bridge that gap, and it's a sort of a finely poised moment. Looks like one of the Roland riders, is it? Just trying to pick her out. It's hard to see on their monitor.
I was thinking, well, this is a perfect opportunity for anybody from Roland to try and come across, to be honest, because when you take a look at the roster of riders, solid riders, but I think they really need to be creative in where they can try and get some of their results. They've lost a couple of big riders, particularly in Maggie Cole's Lister, who's now racing for the Human Powered Health Squad. So for them, they have to be creative. They need to really think outside the box. Where can they get those results? What do they really want to target? Because it's often that we see them in breakaways. I think towards the back end of last season, again, they were very active. They were animating. They're a World Tour team, but they also need to pick up a lot of points this year if they want to maintain in that World Tour status. Laporta takes the maximum points, 8 points into her pocket.
Yeah, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot was at the front of the bunch, taking the final point through the first sprint of the day. But it's more importantly Linda Laporta that took the maximum points, and she's in a commanding position, heading to the second intermediate sprint and that battle for the black jersey and a visit to the podium later on. Well, Laporta has a major advantage. She's a 3-point lead over Swinkels, who's leading at the moment, and she, as you say, just has to. Oh, is she going to go for a long one?
Well, this is interesting. She's really wanting to go early, and this is the case of this kind of road here, because Swinkels is now going to try and take the advantage. It's such a long sprint, it almost lures you in to going early.
Well, Laporta's cracked. She hasn't got the legs. I mean, she was out front for quite a while going for, and this is Tonetti's going to get second place points here, so this is going to guarantee that Swinkels will take that black jersey. So disappointment really, and the legs wilted, and that's simply fatigue, and that is an endurance effort as much as anything else. So Tonetti will take and this is significant. If Tonetti gets the 8 here, that will mean that Laporta, I think, will actually go back into the lead of this competition. So disappointment there, I think, there for Swinkels. Let's add it all up, but I think that actually means that Laporta, who was completely, significantly vanquished in that one, has been done a major favour by Cristina Tonetti. So it's the Italian axis there really has worked the oracle. Not that I think that Cristina Tonetti herself was thinking too much about it. Oh, riders down, and the intensity had gone up, and unfortunately a few riders down. It's quite the carambolage, that, isn't it? And a lot of riders have been severely inconvenienced here. I think it's going to take a little bit of a while to untangle bodies and bikes from this mess. I don't think there are too many teams indeed that haven't been somehow implicated by this one, and this could take quite a while to sort out. We'll try and pick out a few riders. Roland squad, the Phoenix de Koenig aforementioned, certainly well represented in the crash, which would suggest that a lot of it happened relatively close to the front. A lot of their teams, I think there are quite a few of the B Pink riders as well in there. Often is the way, isn't it, when it's really full on, that riders are from, there are several riders from the same team. Conlon SRAM as well, also riders feeling the effect of that one. With the impressive breakaway taking both intermediate sprints, their job for the day was done. And with 3 kilometres to go, it's all down to the sprinters to make it over the line first and take the red jersey. Wonderful work being done by Tonetti and Swinkels on the front to last as long as they did. I didn't think there was any chance of that happening, but they're about to be absorbed, and it is the left-hand side of the road and those big teams in there, including SD Works, that are going to make the catch first, and persevering with the right-hand side of the road. Don't think that's going to happen for much longer. We'll see the Uno X, I think, sweep across, and who's going to it's just happening now. To the right turn, 750 metres remaining at the conclusion of stage 1 of the UAE Tour, and it's into that final bend. It was UAE Team ADQ that had control, but they had a raft of SD Works jerseys, and look at that, she's ready and waiting to pounce. The European Road Race champion, Lorena Wiebe, is looking in very strong position at the right now. She's got 2 riders in front of her, waiting to drop off riders down, and there's at least 1 rider down as they begin the sprint, and it's Wiebe starting to time her effort. Cole has gone already on the right hand side of and Cole, has she bounced? Is Wiebe going to be able to get there in time? It's 1-on-1 on the opposite side of the road. Who's coming up with the late run? It's Wiebe that gets it. Lorena Wiebe gets the glory and gets the victory on stage 1 of the UAE Women's Tour. Lorena Wiebe, she was cool, calm and collected as Charlotte Cole on the other side of the road just went that ever so slightly little bit earlier, and I think, did she hold on for second? Well, we'll see, because that was a late push, and was it Fidanza that came up with a run? Well, we get full confirmation of the top 3, but there's absolutely no doubt about who got the win. It was Lorena Wiebe, the European Road Race champion, reasserting her dominance and demonstrating that she is the preeminent force in women's World Tour sprinting. Lorena Vivas sits at the top of the pile after her superb sprint. Charlotte Cole in second. She'll be looking for revenge over the coming days. Nienke Veenhoven is third, and also in the white jersey for Best Young Rider. The bonus points picked up in the breakaway mean Christina Tonetti and Sylvie Swinkels take up the 4th and 5th spots respectively. Stage 2 is the shortest of the tour, with just 111 kilometres of flat and wide roads from Al Dhafra Fort to Al Mirfa on the Arabian Gulf coast. There were a few victims from the previous day's crash. Chief among them was the former Paris-Roubaix winner Alison Jackson, the Canadian abandoning the race after breaking her scaphoid. With winds forecast on the exposed roads, the teams were ready for the potential of the peloton splitting crosswinds, so much so that the race seemed to be on even before the flag dropped.
But you saw from the neutral zone how eager they were to be up towards the front. It was almost sharpen the elbows, get ready, and it was almost as if the race had started, because, to be quite honest, it had. Even though you were in that neutral section, you wanted to hold your position. You knew exactly what was about to come. If you saw the body language of Sylvia Persico, for example, it just gave you the clear indication that UAE Team ADQ, they wanted to try and do something. Maybe they don't want to rest on the laurels and only wait for Jebel Hafid to try and win the overall general classification. They want to put all of these riders under pressure. They don't want to leave it to the penultimate stage.
The first 37 kilometres of an hour of this race are going to be in this crosswind kind of scenario, and the advantage, a scant 12 seconds. That is an almost organised group behind. It's large in number. You can be sure that any UAE's the human powered healths and are in that group are not going to be contributing. But for the and of course the SD Works won't be helping out. For the most part, though, those riders behind have a lot of motivation to try and close down on what's a very, very small lead group at the moment. Urska Zygert is desperately floundering at the back here. Her general classification hopes hanging by a thread. Inside 100 to go. How quickly this one goes. One of the shortest stages, and as we discussed yesterday, the wind and everything we know about the stage and we're expecting, plus the fact that it's a relatively short stage, it's kind of counterintuitive, but that can often make it more certainly busier, and it can make it more complicated for the favourites. At the moment, the outright favourites feeling pretty good about things. So gap is going out at a rate of knots, and it's looking really good here as the UAE Team ADQ squad they own all the pacemaking. Lisa Longo Borghini is just going to get a nice calm armchair ride to the sprint here. Just makes a little bit of an investment. No challenge from behind, so probably stop sprinting, Elisa. Useful points towards the intermediate sprints competition, about which he cares not. It's all about those 3 bonus seconds on general classification.
Such a fast stretch of road here. Ever so slightly downhill, minus 1, minus 2%. Great road surface, it's very, very smooth.
Inside 2 minutes advantage, but they're going to get this one at the very rate. What about that for charging along? The pace is, it's absolutely flying. It's really kind of exciting, isn't it, this level of smooth sailing? Somewhat surprisingly, that wasn't Elisa Longo Borghini that took the bonus seconds there. What was that all about? I think she might have been third across the line. Did it catch them out?
You've almost just thrown away, well, you have just thrown away 2 seconds, all of the advantage that you can get.
I think did it catch them out? Surely they would have seen it and knew it was coming, and the team are right behind at this point. They managed to get the cars up, so I don't think it was a radio distance issue. Let's get a look at this again. And I'm not sure, did Longo Borghini even get there? She did get the 1, so it's been a 4-second gain from the visit to the break. It felt like they gave away 2 seconds there.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Lorena Vivas not interested. Lily Williams is all about the stage honours today. Oh, it's the coal group. She's in Group 3, and that's torn it. So Charlotte Cole is not where she needs to be. Well, there are about 50 riders between the first 3 groups on the road, 5 in the front group, as you can see, and something just over 20 in each of the next 2 groups. So it's fair to say that about half the race is in a different postcode right now. They've been jettisoned and distanced. And, you know, the real superstar here is Elisa Longo-Borghini, because she is a fabulous climber. She's a wonderful time trialist. She can do a little bit of everything. She is amongst the best all-round bike riders on planet Earth, and she is just demonstrating that the truth of that today. She is, what a sort of a classics ride it is from a rider who's also a GC contender.
And you heard again just then Karl-Heinz Schwinkel saying, Elisa, come on, you're on the front so long, you're actually putting us. This is a detrimental effect. You're not actually helping. The fact that you're so strong, you're in such good form, you're actually doing damage to the fact whether our group is going to stay away or not. But now gritted teeth for Lizzie Deignan on the front for Lidl, trying to try and salvage something here for Elisa Balsamo. 1:06, well, with 2.8 kilometers to go, this, I'm afraid, is looking likely to be all but too late.
Elisa Longo-Borghini will stay on the front, I think, well, if she'd be happy enough, I think, to do it all the way to the line from here. Certainly wouldn't be upsetting Lorena Wiebes, who's the red-hot favourite for glory today. Is there any way that any rider could contemplate an attack? And if any rider is going to, it's got to be Lily Williams, second in line here.
And don't forget, you've got that final corner coming with only a couple of 100 meters to go, and that's really going to be one of the absolute key points, key moments as they go under the Flamme Rouge. 1,000 meters remains. Who has got enough to try and challenge Lorena Wiebes? And is there going to be any counter-attacks or attacks going through as Swinkles makes an acceleration on the left-hand side?
Just trying to cause a couple of cracks here and soften the resolve of any rider who might be minded to attack. Williams got herself where she needs to be, but is there going to be any sort of slackening of the pace which would be required to promote an attack? Williams, all of these riders must be absolutely shattered. They're coming down to the final bend. It's surely going to come down to something of a sprint now. Swinkles has done her turn and going to hand it over to Gillespie to lead out Longo-Borghini into the final bend. Lorena Wiebes is in prime position to eat this one up for another victory, a second in succession. And here she comes like a rocket out of a gun. And is she going to get to the line in time? Lorena Wiebes surely has enough in hand, and she's going to get the glories 2 days in a row, a second time into Almerfa. It's glory for Lorena Wiebes as she takes the victory from Lily Williams. But what a great day out too for the UAE Team ADQ squad, led on by Elisa Longo-Borghini, and they will be paying great tribute to Lara Gillespie and Karl-Heinz Schwinkel after that.
And I think top job from UAE Team ADQ, top job from Wiebes, top job from Lily Williams. The fact that they've held off this group who have been chasing, they have sometimes lost that impetus, and it's always been a little bit messy and fragmented, but in the end they've been able to hold off the chase behind, and now it's starting to look as though SD Works Pro Time, well, what can Barbara Grishia do? Can she try and get a top 10 for that squad?
Well, they don't want to ride too hard because I suppose they're diminishing the advantage, but at this point it's a significant advantage gained, and Guarici would really like to scoop an honourable bunch victory, if you want to call it that. And who else is going to get it? And where is the likes of Chiara Consoni going for sixth on the day? Well, it's minor positions to be decided. The top 5 after 2 stages is made up of the 5 from today's breakaway, with Lorena Wiebes remaining on top with her second stage victory in as many days. Ireland's Lara Gillespie is in second, Lily Williams of Human Powered Health in third, Elisa Longo-Borghini fourth with her UAE ADQ teammate Karl-Heinz Schwinkel in fifth. But most significantly in the GC battle, it is the 1 minute and 20 second gap between Longo-Borghini and all of her GC rivals. On to stage 3 in the classic mountain stage of the women's tour of the UAE, and certainly a day for those that can climb. 152 kilometres from the peloton as they make their way out of Al Ain towards the desert before turning back into the city and then heading for the tough finale up the Jabal Hafid mountain. This stage has previously been the focal point of the GC battle as riders fight their way up the slopes of the 10.8 kilometre climb, and with Aliso Longoborghini's impressive lead over her GC rivals, the 2023 champion looks all set to end the day in the red jersey unless someone can do something special.
How much does it change the race that Elisa Longoborghini has some advance from yesterday?
Yeah, for sure. She has 1 minute 26, so it will be hard to catch her. But yeah, you know, my goal is also now to come back to road racing, so I have to go step by step and don't have to be like too impatient, you know. And yeah, we will see also in the climb. Last year she lost 1 minute 8, so from the leader. So everything can happen in the road cycling, and we have to believe until the end.
Juliette, how different is the race now after what happened yesterday?
I think it's a bit different, but of course Elisa I think was already the favorite, so in the end it doesn't change so much. I think what will like how the race will be raced today, but some girls lost quite some time on the first group that I was in, so I think that's maybe the most interesting for today, that for sure some girls will try to make the gap again back to the front, so I think it will be exciting final, and maybe also in the race if it's windy.
How special is it to have such an advantage on GC but not the leader jersey?
Yeah, it's for sure a good advantage, the one that I have, but we don't take things for granted. Today we have to ride smart and to respect the other riders and to be here to try our best to finalize what we did yesterday.
Kilometre 0, the race about to get underway. Wonder how long before we'll see a battle. Will there be a battle for an early breakaway? Will we see some of the riders who were prominent on day one and who battled it out? 2 intermediate sprints across the day, of course, and the battle for the black jersey, which was sort of suspended yesterday as it was a different kind of a breakaway. But it'll be interesting to see whether some of the sort of less vaunted teams might be interested in getting up the road to go for the intermediate sprint points and that black jersey classification. But it was the riders in the GC battle that were controlling events in the intermediate sprints, as Aliso Longoborghini's UAE teammate Lara Gillespie made sure that she scooped up the bonus seconds. But red jersey hopefuls Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Juliette Labousse did manage to take the second and third places to gain the 2 and 1 second bonuses. And there was more intriguing action for those in the hunt for the red jersey, as a breakaway with Longoborghini and Ferrand-Prévot took advantage of crosswinds, with Juliette Labousse stuck back in the peloton. Thankfully for the FDJ Suez rider, the dangerous move was snuffed out after 11 kilometres.
Now we're starting to head in towards that crosswind once again. 3 riders make an attack, and look at this for a team effort.
You called it. It's a team effort here. 3 Cofidis riders. Is Bego among them? That's what we need to see. But that was the shout out, and they've managed to get a little bit of an advantage. One of them set it up, and they've still got 2 ahead. I'm sure Bego is here, but we'll find out very shortly. And others cottoning on to that one, maybe fancy latching on and trying to get involved as well. And the peloton have been shaken from their torpor somewhat. There's no more chatting at the back of the bunch right now.
It is ever so slightly climbing, around 1%, 2% at this part, and then you get back onto the flat roads, and it's really with around 12 kilometres to go where it starts to rise. Although you're not officially on the climb, you start to get to gradients of 4%, and once you get to the base of the climb with 10.7 kilometres to go, that's when it really starts to sting, and you're into double digits of 11%. But everybody's now setting themselves up for that left-hand turn that will soon be coming, and that will take you in towards the road of Jabal Hafid. So everybody's just lining themselves up, little trek found themselves with two riders on the left-hand side of the road. They saw that their leader, Rihanna Marcus, was on the right-hand side. They've moved themselves across.
It was great to see the way the UAE ADQ squad were sort of in the wheels a little bit. Movistar leading the peloton, and as soon as they could extricate themselves, they swept over to the left-hand side with slightly fresher legs, with more strength, more power, and are sort of easing. And then, of course, other teams taking their cue. So much of the race then swept across onto the left-hand side. Let's focus a little bit on the sprint that never was, as Marta Lack's going to lead them through ahead of Dideriksen and Berthaud. And that's job done. Points distributed, a few seconds reduced from the overall deficit of these riders. And if Marta Lack's got her climbing legs on, you'd never know, but I don't think that's going to be her focus today. She's not going to be thinking too hard about that. It's all about getting to the climb with the maximum advantage they possibly can manage. The UAE ATQs on the left-hand side of the road. Liv Valula Jaco with Mavi Garcia third in line on the right-hand side in those magenta jerseys. And to jettison a little bit of a few bottles and equipment, but regardless, that one was nicely dealt with. Advantage trimmed a little bit down to just over a minute as a result of that injection of pace from many of the teams, including and most particularly UAE ADQ. As the small breakaway approached the foothills of the Jabal Hafit climb, Dideriksen decided to pull the pin on her effort, leaving just two riders at the front of the race with a fast approaching peloton. Now let's get a focus on what's emerging at the front as Elisa Longoborghini just slots in behind Mavi Garcia, and the rest of that lead group starting to form. Still, well, about 15-20 riders involved. That's set to diminish as we work our way up this climb. Julie de Wilde is not giving up on this just yet, is she?
They're holding on very, very well. They came into the climb with a substantial advantage, and even a couple of kilometers ago it was still at 45 seconds, and despite the big accelerations and the injection of pace, they're still holding on well. They've gained another 3 seconds.
A couple of other riders we saw being sent to the back of the class, so to speak. Lily Williams, fine performance yesterday, and actually getting up the hill reasonably well, albeit she's been distanced at this point, as indeed is the overall race leader. And she has lasted well in that group, actually, hasn't she?
Well.
She's honouring the jersey as well. Lorena Vivas enjoying a great hit out, another day in red, albeit she's going to hand that jersey over at the end of today. Nonetheless, though, with 7k remaining, is only now being jettisoned by the climbing the mountain goats. That's a great effort. And it looks as if, well, in fairness, their first race back, but Pauline Ferrand-Prévot just drifts into a dangerous point, and indeed a little bit of daylight emerging between herself and the rest of the lead group. So Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, the very beginning of her comeback to World Tour cycling. She's looked really good so far this week, but maybe just this is a little bit early in that return to the top level, and the big dream of general classification glory remains at this moment a dream. The boost is going backwards here, and that's significant.
This is huge, and this is a huge surprise. While we've been surprised at those who've climbed so well, this is a huge surprise to see that Juliette Labousse, the French champion of FDJ Suez and the big leader within the French World Tour squad, is being distanced with still 5.8 kilometers to go, and there are still riders there. There's still a large group, so this is not good news for this French squad. Mavi Garcia's there along with one of her teammates, which is good news for Garcia, but she's trying to go on the left-hand side of the road and try and inject some pace. It's how much time can she gain back, and can she try and do some damage to UAE Team ADQ, because Silvia Persico acute to that move. A little gap is starting to open, and here goes Longoborghini. She sensed the danger. Ninka Vinka is having to accelerate for Picnic Post NL, and now Niedermayer is being distanced out the back.
Well, that was as Niedermayer goes backwards, Mavi Garcia goes forwards. We've seen that over the last couple of years. Garcia is not afraid to go on a long-range attack, and she knows ideally she needs to put a little bit of daylight between herself and Elisa Longoborghini down to the final 5 kilometers if she's genuinely to pretend for overall success in this race. It will be decided on this climb today, in effect, so you really need to put a lot of daylight between yourself and the Italian champion. She got no more than a few bike lengths before she throttled back. Immediate response, and a very impressive one indeed from Kim Lecourt, who's the first rider up, and the rest of them start to gather themselves back up as the front two almost grind to a halt. Still a long way to go. A few cracks starting to appear. Mavi Garcia, I think, is really suffering to try and hang on here. That attack might have been full stone for her.
Here goes Longo Borghini.
That's the battle for red, and as if there was any doubt about it, she's had enough at this point. She's been on the attack on the flat road. She is the champion-elect almost, given her position on general classification heading into today. And now Elisa Longo Borghini puts a bit of daylight between herself and the rest, and they're left floundering in pursuit. Is there anything they can possibly do about this one? Immediately, Marcotti's looking around to see where Kim LaCourte and the rest of them are. Persico will try and recover as best she can from this one, as they've scattered in pursuit of the champion from 2023. Elisa Longo Borghini has floated clear, demonstrating the power that she has already shown us on the flat roads. But what a climber she is, what an all-round contender. She's the reigning champion of the Giro d'Italia Donna, and I tell you what, it's going to take some extraordinary effort to drag her back. Kim LaCourte, though, fancies the job, and she's willing to take it on, and Marcotti as well, also willing to form a little duo in pursuit of the flying Elisa Longo Borghini, who's already opened up an advantage, and her lead on general classification set to be absolutely massive at the top of this climb. Still 3k to go, and it does level off with about 2 kilometers of the climb remaining. 1.82 kilometers just starts to ease. So if you are going to, if you feel strong and you do want to sort of make something of this mountain, you probably need to get it done now before it levels off.
I think so, and particularly for Malcotti and Piana, I would be saying, right, let's try and work together as best as possible. Let's try and keep this advantage over the others who are now behind, and let's try and see what we can do if we can keep this advantage at a minimum. And then, of course, when it does start to flatten off and you can get a moment of respite, that's the moment where, if you're in the chasing duo, you can't start to look at each other and start to have a bit of a quabble as to who's going to do the chasing and the pulling. You need to keep that momentum rolling. You need to share that workload. 12 seconds, it's a good advantage. It's a good effort for Longo Borghini. It's only growing, though, 14 seconds now. What a performance.
Well, you sort of think even when the gradient eases to 3, 4, 5%, I mean, she's got so much power that, she won't necessarily be at a deficit in that situation. Great little combination now between Kim LaCourte and Barbara Malcotti. Malcotti potentially going to give Human Powered Health 2 consecutive podium finishes in this stage race at World Tour level. Kim LaCourte is also absolutely flying in that distinctive Mauritian national champions jersey, which is not quite a world champions jersey, but it's a very pretty jersey indeed. And well, they're struggling. They're really feeling the pinch, but they've shown themselves to be the best of the rest so far to this point. And Elisa Longo Borghini, almost in a defensive situation, sort of the red jersey elect at this point on the climb, but she felt enough is enough. I just feel as if I can go so much faster.
And she could feel and sense that everybody else was in the hurt locker. Everybody else had been suffering under the input and under the pressure of Silvia Persico and the sterling work that she's done for the Italian champion. And so she felt like, well, this is my moment. I want to go. I want to win on Jebel Hafid in my home race of my team, of UAE Team ADQ. I want to win at the top. I want to arrive solo. I want to take a commanding lead in this race to make sure that tomorrow, even if any problems or issues occur or arise, then you can be still in control of that red jersey. And you just saw that nobody was able to respond, particularly the out-and-out climbers of Niedermeyer and Trinker here. Malcotti tried to go. Piana, still, I take my hat off, because such an all-round rider to be in this position right now. But 34 seconds, well, this is going to be incredibly difficult to bring back. And I think, well, the victory, stage victory to Longo Borghini, but now it's all about battling for the podium places on the stage, and crucially, the podium places in the general classification.
Oh, time for an attack. Malcotti is going for glory here, scoop some bonus seconds, maybe put a bit of daylight between herself and Niedermeyer.
Wow.
for the second time in 3 years. She's going to take glory on Jebel Hafid. She's going to take the overall lead of the UAE Tour Women, and she's heading potentially towards a second title in 3 years in the only World Tour stage race in the Middle East. It is the UAE Team ADQ squad who are going to take the glory. It's the Italian national road race champion that celebrates, and Elisa Longo Borghini is the victor on Jebel Hafid on stage 3, and will head to the podium now to collect the red jersey. 38.5 kilometers an hour average speed as we look at the battle for the second position on the road. Looks as if Malcotti is fresh for the fight here, and she's got a little bit of an advantage trying to steal a march on the rest, but it's Kim Lacourt and Persico that are going to duke it out, and this is absolutely key. Who's going to get the 6 seconds? And it looks to me as if Persico has time to run to perfection. She gets the inside line into the final bend. Silvia Persico is going to make it a 1-2 finish for the Team UAE ADQ squad, and that's sheer dominance from that team. Wonderful, wonderful performance, and it's a 1-2 finish for the home squad. It's a 1-2 finish for Italy as well, and joy unbound for your stage winner, Elisa Longo Borghini. Well, after another tremendous stage here, it's a total shake-up in the overall leaderboard. Elisa Longo Borghini jumps to top spot with a huge 2-minute and 9-second lead. And barring a disaster, she will be there at the end of tomorrow's final stage. Silvia Persico's reward for all that hard work on the climb for her UAE ADQ teammate is second place in the standings. The Mauritian national champion Kim Lacourt was another standout performer today, and she sits in third, just 3 seconds from Persico. So on to stage 4, the final day of the UAE Tour, and it's a ride around the country's capital city, Abu Dhabi. It's billed as another one for the sprinters on the flat roads. Starting from Fatima bint Mubarak Ladies Academy, the race heads to Yas Marina, then through a series of islands and bridges before arriving at Abu Dhabi Breakwater for the last sprint finish of the tour. The peloton rolled out in more warm and windy conditions, ready for their final jaunt in the Middle East. The peloton rolled out in more warm and windy conditions, ready for their final jaunt in the Middle East. We join the action just before the first intermediate sprint of the day. Oh, riders down, and it's Koch, the German champion, synchronized getting up with the Movistar riders. Inconvenience there. A couple of riders just hitting the deck, and you can tell that things just got a little bit busy. Franziska Koch has putting her chain on from the top and from the other side of the bike, and she's managed to achieve that. And that's going to take a little bit of surgery, that bike. Hopefully Meyering, who's the inconvenience rider there, Meyering from the Movistar squad, is going to be able to, well, those handlebars are in a bit of a state now. I think she needs another bike.
Get a bike change, save time, get on with it, wait for your race bike to be fixed and adjusted if it possibly can be, and do a bike change later on. But hanging around at that point trying to fix a bike, and particularly with that lever that is so far turned in and bent in, just get a bike change, get back underway, because Koch is going to be absolutely crucial for Cole later on. She needs to make sure that she is saved as much energy as possible for that lead out. Meyering is already back underway, the Dutch rider from Movistar. That can always be quite a hard crash here.
Let's see if we can pick it out. 2 riders going down in the middle of the peloton, or was it closer to the back? Well, you can see Koch there, so she's just in the middle of our shot, and Meyering just won. And Meyering almost missed it, but she goes down on the right side. Her gear hanger breaks, and the rear mech is dangling free. Be a relatively cheap fix, but she needed a new bike for now. So that's the distribution of points on offer here for first to fourth across the line. 8, 5, 3 and 1 in both the points classification and the intermediate sprints classification. One's for the green jersey, other for the black jersey. There's the black jersey just being escorted into position number 3 with that black jersey is Lara Gillespie. finished fine third on day 2, and Colin Schwinkels, who's wearing the green jersey on behalf of the leader of that classification, who is Elisa Longo Borghini, is going to do the lead out here. And Lara Gillespie shouting and roaring, and riders left, right, and all over the place. Kim LaCourt trying to get involved there, and ultimately, who got up to take it? UAE Team ADQ happy enough. Well, which one of the 2 riders was it? Her teammate Silvia Persico, who'd be absolutely. I mean, there you go. That was textbook stuff, and we weren't sure whether Silvia Persico would be up for that one, but she absolutely was, and managed to vanquish Kim LaCourt, and that's rubber stamped her situation in the battle for second. Let's have a look at it from overhead.
You can see Kim LaCourt Piana, who is sprinting. She's getting boxed in here. It's one of the riders, well, it's Caroline Swinkels, who almost keeps Piana, who is locked in. In the end, very, very close throw on the line between Gillespie and Kim LaCourt Piana, but it was a clear runaway for Silvia Persico, so she consolidates her position in the general classification for second. But LaCourt is not happy there. Not happy with Schwinkels whatsoever. The fact that she kept her blocked in and boxed in. But it's, wow, she's not happy.
Robbins Racing.
Yeah.
And another attack and another good opportunity and a good time to do it, you would think. But you know what? Human Powered Health want to get involved too. Cofidis and the B-Pink squad as well. Maybe that's just too many, and maybe just too close to the finish of this. I mean, can they cover every attack for 32.5 kilometers?
That's the difficulty, isn't it? But for some of these riders, that is their job. And for Elena Cecchini of SD Works Pro Time, that is her job. Make sure that anything that becomes a danger, and particularly at this crucial part of a race, is quickly closed down, because it would be, for those riders who've kept the powder dry throughout, not just today's stage, but over the last 3 days, you know, they might still have almost fresh legs in inverted commas. They've still got something left to give. And now Eleanor Barker of Uno X Mobility has sensed an opportunity, and straight away into that smooth pedaling style. Takes a look over her left-hand shoulder. She won't see anybody there because nobody's able to latch onto her back wheel. Well, Barker certainly picks up the 8 points and the 3 bonus seconds there at that intermediate sprint in Al-Qasar.
It's decided second and third.
Oh, sorry, Qasar Al Hosn.
Extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah, just who plonked that in the middle of a big city? We're going to the Alamo in San Antonio in Texas as well, and it's similar. It is a tiny little sort of, you know. Oh, and a bit of a gallop behind. Who's going to get involved? LaCourt wants the bonus seconds. Bit of an investment here from Persico and Van Rooyen also. Is that, yeah, up for that one. And really, LaCourt never really threatened there. So a solid job done by Sophie Van Rooyen just to deny the second place points there. And well, Kim LaCourt, third across the line on that occasion. And Gillespie not getting involved.
But it was Sophie Van Rooyen who was watching LaCourt like a hawk, following the wheel. LaCourt hit out early. Persico was trying to come round Swinkels to try and get on terms, but look at this. I mean, several bike lengths, but Van Rooyen was just able to use the slipstream of LaCourt.
Different class.
Come round, absolute different class. And look at this. It was ferocious for those bonus seconds.
Yeah, Gillespie had to think about it, didn't she? And the overall race leader, Elisa Longo Borghini, remaining vigilant as well. And Caroline Schwinkels just, I'm sure Gillespie was there now that I think about it.
Almost a drop of the head there from LaCourt, but I have to say, it's certainly not a shame of the way that she's ridden and the way that she's performed over the last 4 days. She's been in some of the key crucial moments in the crosswind. She's always there. Incredibly smart.
Still one rider on the front at the moment for the SD Works Pro Time squad. And will there be a little bit of assistance from other teams? Will the likes of Picnic Post NL, Team ADQ want to maintain a position close to the front? And Eleanor Barker, her advantage as a result of that little flurry of excitement in the sprint behind, shaved a few seconds off. But we'll see how it resets now. Or will they continue to pare back the advantage of the Welsh superstar Eleanor Barker of the Uno X squad? brave effort, and she, in a very mature and experienced and professional way, moves across to the opposite side of the road. The bunch are going to track her across there, but yeah, inside 5 to go, and they are within touching distance of the lone leader. And let the lead out begin. Let the scrap for the bunch sprint. Second time from 3 years, it's going to be a big bunch kick. 1,700 meters to go. It's starting to get busy in there. So far, it's been cool, calm and collected and quite controlled in that peloton.
It has been controlled, but now it's complete disarray as it starts to become a little bit complicated, a little bit of chaos. Longo Borghini in the red jersey still on the front. Dignan swings off and she leaves it to Ilaria Sanguinetti. Trying to come up late is Christina Schweinberger for Fennings de Koning. What can Julie de Ville do? Here goes Guazzini on the far right-hand side for FDJ Suez. She's trying to take a big flyer,
well,
and can she get the jump?
Yeah, can she get the jump? Guazzini trying for a late attack, and everybody, that's put the cat among the pigeons. They weren't expecting that. With just 1,200 meters remaining, there's surely too much organization behind. We're heading towards the kite, and the SD Works Pro Time squad going to come with a late rush as Lorena Wiebes slots in that white jersey in about 10th position at the moment. Elisa Longo Borghini lost the rest of the team and pulled the pin a little bit as they're going to try and slot in and pick up on the coattails of some of the other teams. We've got Human Powered Health in prime position on the front of the bunch, trying to pull a fast one and upset the apple cart here a little bit. Inside 1,000 meters to go. Wiebes tracks on the right-hand side, trying to find the right wheel. And Ado Sala moving up on the right as well.
Wiebes has lost a lead-out train, but she's following Cole.
And she's going to try and stay on the wheel of Charlotte Cole, as now we have the Visma Lisa bike squad coming for Annika Veenhoven. And can they manage to ambush and surprise here as Lorena Wiebes is into the final few bends, and Fidanza looking in good shape here as well. Will she be able to time this round to perfection? It's going to be more difficult to pick away out, but Veenhoven is going to be dropped off very nicely indeed as Wiebes is on the wheel of Ado Salo and trying to freelance her way to glory. It's all getting a bit physical in there. There's a couple of riders left for Ninka Veenhoven as Lorena Wiebes looks to be in prime position. She's timed it to absolute perfection, but will she manage to do it? So Jesutas goes the riders down! Riders down! Numerous riders down! Consoni possibly Cole as well, but it's Lorena Wiebes! It's going to get to the line! She finally cracks that nut! She gets the victory, her third of the week, her first time taking the victory here on the final stage, and Lorena Wiebes did a perfect job, absolutely perfect execution. I think we can say, as if we didn't think it already, that she is the best sprinter in the world.
Professional victory, number 96, the European champion, victorious, and finally she cracks the final stage. She didn't have a lead-out train in that finale, but she could follow the wheels.
Riders down all over the place, and Kofod is badly implicated by that one, so there's some concern, Alcini, I think, among those riders that's on the deck there, and we hope they're going to be able to pick themselves up off the floor. That was a messy finale, but Lorena Wiebes was able to stay out of trouble. And the European road race champion, cool, calm and collected, immediately recovering and seeming as if that was just a walk in the park.
Lorena, first time winning the last stage of the UAE Tour. Is it somehow a relief?
Yeah, it's nice to win it, and also the team worked really hard for it today. So I had to finish it off. It was really chaotic in the last kilometers. I lost the train, but I found my way out and I was able to sprint.
Tell us how it happened. It looked like a short sprint.
Yeah, I knew before that it was mostly headwind towards the finish, so I didn't want to come too early to the front. But then I felt somebody on the right side coming up, and then I reacted actually, and it was enough to hold it to the finish line.
Lorena Wiebes wins that elusive final stage sprint, her 6th ever stage win at the UAE Tour, a race she absolutely loves, and a race she has dominated on the flat roads.
We present to you the leader, the winner of stage 4 of this UAE Tour, riding for SD Works Pro Time, Lorena Wiebes.
It's Elisa Longo Borghini who keeps the red jersey, her 2nd win here, and a home win for her team, UAE ADQ. Longo Borghini's teammate and fellow Italian Silvio Persico is 2nd, with the AG Insurance Sudal team's Kim Lecourt taking the final spot on the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the winner of the UAE Tour, Elisa Longo Borghini.
Elisa, it was not your first time listening to the Italian anthem on stage. Was it the first time that you felt representing 2 countries?
Yes, indeed. The first time I was just representing Italy, and now I was representing both Italy and UAE, and we're pretty proud of it because in the end it's our, let's say, home race, and from the beginning of the season the team made a clear call that we had to be fit for this race, but coming here and winning the GC, being second, and also getting away with the sprint classification and the team classification is something just incredible. I think it shows how committed we were and how strong we were throughout the 4 days.
With that final stage win, Lorena Vives secures the green jersey, and deservedly so. An incredible 3 wins from 4 stages for the Team SD Works Pro Time rider.
The winner of the green points jersey, sponsored by Mordon, riding for SD Works Pro Time, Lorena Vives.
Canyon SRAM's Zonda Crypto's Antonio Niedermeyer will take home the white jersey for Best Young Rider.
We present to you the winner of the Best Young Rider classification from Canyon SRAM, Zonda Crypto, Antonia Niedermeyer.
UAE ADQ's Lara Gillespie scoops the black jersey for the top point scorer in the intermediate sprints.
Lara Gillespie.
And it was another win in an incredibly successful home race for UAE ADQ, as they were crowned the best overall team.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winning team, UAE Team ADQ.
So that's it for the 2025 UAE Tour Women. 540 kilometres completed in the United Arab Emirates. And it's Elisa Longa Borghini who has her name etched on the trophy for the second time in what has been a great race full of drama and excitement. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next year.